itakuwa makosa nisipotoa ombi hili tukiwa hapa Kakamega. Kuna jambo na mjadala ambao unaendelea Kenya kuhusu bima ya taifa ile ambalo linaitwa Taifa Care ama inajulikana kama SHA. Wiki iliyopita Mheshimiwa Rais tumemuita waziri wa masuala ya afya pale bungeni, na amekuja na ripoti ambayo mimi niliitizama na nikasema ni vizuri ni tafsiri ili tukiwa hapa Kakamega wananchi pia waweze kuelewa kwamba tulimuuliza, je, bima hii tangu ianze ni shilingi ngapi zimekusanywa na ngapi zimelipia wananchi? Akatuambia ni kwamba tangu mfumo huu uanze mwezi wa 10 mwaka uliopita wamekusanya bilioni 20 na bilioni 19 imelipia mwananchi wa kawaida bill za hospitali. Sasa mimi najiuliza swali moja. Wewe hapa Kakamega unafuata vyombo vya habari, unafuata kwenye maredio, unapiga kelele kwa mazishi, unasema hii kitu sisi tulisikia haifanyi. Na kuna Mkenya amenyamaza mahali, yeye anaenda hospitali wakati amegojeka analipiwa bill. Mimi nataka kuwarai hivi, kabla hujaongea, kabla hujapiga kelele, kabla hujapumbazwa na wanahabari ambao wananiambia katika taifa letu la Kenya, jiandikishe kwanza. Wakati utagojeka uone kama utalipiwa ama hautalipiwa, ndiposa sasa ukuje kuongea mbele ya umati. Hilo asanteni, kwa sababu unajua hapa katika taifa letu la Kenya imekuwa ni watu ambao mara mingi tunazungumza. Huyu mheshimiwa baraza anajua kitu moja. Kaunti zetu, mimi ni mtetezi wa maneno ya kaunti. Kaunti zetu zilikuwa zinangojea kulipiwa pesa na NHIF kwa zaidi ya mwaka moja. Huyu baraza ni shahidi na anajua jambo hili kwamba tunapozungumza siku ya leo, serikali zetu za kaunti zimelipwa mpaka mwezi wa Januari kutokana na wale wananchi wa kawaida wameenda kutibiwa katika hospitali zetu. Kama ni uongo, gavana wenu wako hapa atasema kama ni kweli ama ni uongo ile nazungumza. Kwa hivyo gavana atasema hapa. Ya mwisho kabisa niseme asanteni kwa nafasi ile ambayo mmetupa. Niseme pole kwa kumpoteza rafiki yetu Malulu Injendi, na niseme Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki mpaka wakati mwingine. God bless you and thank you so much.
Wapi makofi ya Mheshimiwa Aaron Cheriot.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know that our politicians, the moment they hear a funeral, they smile because this is an opportunity to speak the state issues, to attack each other, and probably to garner support. Western Kenya is not excluded here. There have been funerals in Western Kenya that involve prominent people, and I want to talk about the two first before I come to Mululu's. The first one involves mother to Moses Wetangula, the National Assembly Speaker. In this funeral, chaos were witnessed, where politicians literally exchanged words on each other. And we remember people attacking George Natembeya for speaking the truth. Even Moses Wetangula himself rose to attack Natembeya. In this event, they learned a lesson as a state. So in Mululu's event, they did one simple thing. They controlled the people, the number of people who were speaking in that event. Secondly, they controlled the crowd that was coming there. Because we could see where those cheerings from women could come from. There's a specific corner where people were dressed in were wearing reflectors. So therefore, it was a bit controlled. Another thing, there's a funeral that occurred where we had people literally fighting, tents being brought down, chairs being broken, and even the family incurring of a cost of almost more than 1 million Kenyan shillings. So it was a lesson that this time around for Mululus, they have to be very careful because Western politics, it's becoming hot and hot every day. So I was surprised in the Mululu's funeral that regardless of the control, regardless of the people who are coming there managed very well, still there was a possibility for the government to be embarrassed seriously. Why am I speaking this? You've heard from the video I've just played, where Aaron Cheriot is seriously shut down from speaking about SHA. And speaking about SHA in the presence of President William Ruto, for Aaron Cheruiyot, it was good to echo the president's voice. But to the people at the grassroots, it was terrible. You know, people expected now that Aaron Cheruiyot is from President William Ruto's side. The person who passed is President William Ruto's friend. William Ruto has been there before. William Ruto is close to that family. And apart from that, William Ruto ensured that the funeral, it was good. Therefore, he expected the public, the locals, simply to maybe embrace William Ruto, cheer him, and his people, whenever they speak, they clap and maybe in support of that person. But now when Aaron Cheruiyot spoke, and then people are booing him, that was a clear indication that there's no amount of efforts that President William Ruto can make in any place of this country to be able to sanitize himself if it is not the services he offers to Kenyans. That is an observation that I made. If you guys remember very well, the issue of SHA or healthcare is the one that embarrassed President William Ruto in Embu. He rose to speak, he greeted people, he spoke, but the moment he touched SHA, the crowd there, despite being that those were church members, they decided to boo President William Ruto, shouted at him. He had actually to tell them that after this Nepiti hospital, something he never did, simply because of the reaction he was just making towards the kind of bad reception that he was getting at the grassroots. From these events, I learned a few things that I was able to note from some of these activities. But before I take you through on what I learned, Kali, if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please make sure that you subscribe, subscribe, and also make sure that you give me a thumbs up and eventually comment on the comment section, because that is the best support. You can always give these support. Now, one of the things that I learned is that one of the things that will take William Ruto home, it is SHA, healthcare. If it continues this way for the next 2 years, William Ruto is going to be a one-term president. It has to be confirmed that way. Because every household in this country, in one way or the other, it needs the hospital. But if you go there with SHA, despite being registered, despite being paid, despite paying, you don't get the services that you're supposed to get there. That means very well, you keep on remembering the pain William Ruto has brought to this country. So therefore, SHA became one of the things that I learned it's going to take President William Ruto home. Because when he was talking of roads, people did not boo him. When he was promising, people did not boo him. When he was talking of things about politics, people kept quiet. But now the moment SHA was mentioned, until President William Ruto again took almost 30 minutes simply explaining about SHA. That was a serious indication that William Ruto's term is almost coming to an end, if he's not careful. Another thing I learned is that William Ruto is seriously embarrassed by the people around him, particularly the leaders from Western Kenya. That is Wetangula and Mudavadi. Why? Despite their presence, still William Ruto was heckled. William Ruto's man was heckled. Despite their presence, they don't have the touch with the locals. They're not connected. They're not considered as important in that community. If you go with Raila Amolo Odinga to Luo Nyanza, for instance, and there's an event, Aaron Cheruiyot is speaking, people won't boo him because Baba is present. But if you saw what happened now, Aaron Cheruiyot was embarrassed until they had to cry towards governor to come and explain the issue to do with SHA. So in a nutshell, the fact remains as I speak today that William Ruto has wrong leaders around him. Or probably is a wrong leader having good leaders around him. Because if such kind of environment exists on the grassroots, meaning despite the presence of the Western leaders, they are not able to solve the problems the common mwananchi is experiencing, to an extent that they get bored. You know, I was very keen. There's this group of ladies, and actually that's one of the lessons I learned, that before they learned that when young men are given are instructed to go and support us in a certain corner, they eventually engage in what we call war or maybe battles. So as a result, they lead to a destruction of properties. But now this time around, women were used to cheer. They were given reflectors, and the moment they were there, they were just shouting Ruto, Ruto and such. So in a nutshell, it remains the fact that despite the methods they're using on the grassroots, they are still not solving the problem that the Kenyans are experiencing. Then I ask myself, why is it hard for President William Ruto to solve this issue? What is making it difficult for him to sit down and be able to look at where the problem of SHA exists, so that we can get rid of this embarrassment where the president goes in a public event and then is simply heckled? As we speak today, he cannot go to other parts of this country and talk about SHA. He cannot talk about them in Nairobi because we know very well, or maybe in rallies on top of a car, where heckling can occur, but you realize that it is not well heard. But in a quiet place of that kind, where you are speaking, and then you watch from a distance someone seriously heckling you, while an MP like Peter Salasya is speaking and people are cheering, you realize probably William Ruto has wrong leaders around him and is using wrong tactics to get the support of the people. Probably might now think to go for Salasya and some other leaders. What do you think? My name is Abel Mokua. Those are the lessons I learned from there. Please let me see in the comment section what you think.